Thank you for coming to the Bo Travels channel. I am Bo. So I just want to talk about my experience when I went to Iceland. Today we're going to talk about Porufoss. I cannot pronounce it. So I guess the way we would say it with our American tongue is Thorufoss. Thorufoss. I don't have an Icelandic tongue. There's the way we would pronounce it and the way we would spell it, and then there's the way they would spell it. So let me see. This is how the internet says you pronounce it.
Porufoss. Porufoss. Porufoss.
Look, I don't even know how to pronounce this stuff. Like I said, I guess with our American tongue, we would say Thorufoss, but I guess it's Porufoss. Look, I'm just here, okay? So those of you who know, I visited Iceland with my husband during our anniversary, and we chose to do the Golden Circle, and I'll get more into that. But yeah, I just want to talk about Porufoss Waterfall. I think what I just want to say for the record is it is really one of the most beautiful places. Like Iceland is a gorgeous country. Because there's only like 2.5 people who live there. I just don't want you to judge me. But I just, before I get into it, I want to give a shout out to my jacket that I bought in Iceland when I was there. And since it's rainy and kind of chilly right now, I figured I'd come outside and do this video in honor and homage to Iceland. It's a little chilly. I need my little jacket. And let me tell you something, the weather there is a whole situation. So they at any given moment you need a jacket. It's wet, it's not, it's sunny, it's everything. But let's get on into it. Anyway, so as I mentioned in my previous videos, we toured the Golden Circle, and they have like all kinds of like iconic places you need to see, right? And I'll get into that in other videos. One of the very first places that we visited was actually Porufoss Waterfalls on the Golden Circle. So the Golden Circle is in like the southernmost area of Iceland. So, and they have a whole different set of like attractions in landmarks or whatever it is you want to call it. So anyway, what I wanted to do was just showcase one of Iceland's amazing waterfalls. There's I gotta look it up. So yeah, look, it's on my itinerary. And the reason why I wanted to showcase this one was because like there weren't like a lot of tourists there, and it was just so like I don't know. I just wanted to be like, how is it that there aren't that many like tourists here? So the few of us that were there, I shouldn't say the few because there was many, but not really. It was like we were the ones who chose to actually drive the Golden Circle. I don't recall an actual tour bus getting off at this location and everyone filing out to get their pictures, right? So for those of us who chose to visit this location because we were driving it ourselves, which I highly recommend, especially for the Golden Circle. You can do that on your own. What was so cool about it was you get out and there was so much space, and like everyone had like the same look, like mouth was agape, like mouth was open, like I mean, because it was just kind of like, okay. Because driving around, like you get on the Golden Circle, okay, and you're looking at Mother Nature and all her amazingness anyway, because it's the Golden Circle for a reason. It's very orangey, golden, I don't know, fallish looking. I don't know. It's just really pretty. And let me just caveat this, by the way. When I did my little tour thing in Iceland, we went in October because that is our anniversary month. And so I'm recording this in October a year later, got my yellow like Icelandic jacket. Nevertheless, it makes sense that we're sitting out here, or that I'm sitting out here, and it all works. But anyway, so when we were on the Golden Circle, we went to Porufoss Waterfalls, and there weren't that many tourists there. Now I don't know if it's because my husband and I we started out at a decent time. It was kind of early, but not really. We wanted to get started on our journey, and the reason why is we did a self guided tour, which means we drove ourselves, like many people did. And later in our touring, we actually started seeing some of the tourist bus and that type of thing, and we all were at the same locations. But we chose to drive ourselves. It'll tell you if you go do a simple Google search and do like a self-guided tour for Golden Circle, and I put like a 1 day itinerary. They have multiple itineraries. I just chose like a 1 day. So it says if you just go to each one of these, it'll take you probably 3 to 4 hours. And then if you stop at these locations, obviously you extend your trip. So we wanted to have control over how much time we spent at each one of these locations. Let me just say for the record, my husband, yeah, he is not impressed with anything anywhere. But he did actually pause and he actually chose to take a couple of pictures because I think even he was like, oh, okay. Me, on the other hand, I was like totally like fangirling out. I was like, oh my gosh, like, look at it, it's so amazing. I would definitely say you should go to Porufoss Waterfalls, okay? Or Thorufoss. I'm just going to just talk and it's just going to come out how it comes out. So if you could not judge, I would appreciate it. So anyway, we did that thing, right? We go there. And so now look, what's really cool about it is I think it's just overlooked. So when I did a simple Google search, they said that it's a hidden gem. And I'm like, how is it hidden? Because if you're on the golden circle, it tells you stop here, right? So we did, but apparently it must be a hidden thing, even though it's part of the itinerary. Because like I said, when we got there, it was just kind of like we had so much space to do what we wanted. Now, I will say this. When I arrived there, I had on a cute, it was like I'm not trying to drop a label, but the point I'm making was it was more like fashion. So it was a cute Michael Kors jacket, and it was fine, but it was a true little jacket or whatever. And I had on like a sweatshirt or whatever underneath, and I had on sneakers. I don't know what I was thinking, and I wish when I was there I had brought with me like a hiking boot or something like that. I either have sneakers that are leather, like not like canvas material, like leather or a hiking boot or something like that. And the reason why was when I got there, like I said, the land of fire and ice. It was like I want to sprinkle now. So while I'm out there taking pictures and like, you know, I was like, yeah, my feet are gonna get wet. This was the first stop. I was like, yo, this I don't know how this is gonna go. So we get there and it starts to sprinkle. And from where we parked, I don't even know if I have pictures of this. Do I have pictures of this? When we parked, and you're walking out because it's so big and expansive, even though it's probably one of the smaller waterfalls, it was big and expansive enough that like there was just so much space for everybody, so no one got in each other's way when you're taking pictures or whatever, and you get so many different angles, right? So you're walking along grass and rocky and I don't know, but it's flat, but it's not. I don't know how to describe it. Leave me alone. So you walk out there and like I said, when I was getting back into our little tiny little car, by the way, because we had like this tiny little car, because I didn't think to like make sure we reserved for a better car, and I keep forgetting, like I shouldn't forget, but my husband's tall. So he was like, really, this is what we're doing. But anyway, it was just us two, so we were fine. So he had to move his seat all the way back, and everything else was put in back of my seat if we had any sort of like stuff. Walking back to the car, we had well, I had to deal with, ew, this is getting moist out here. The ground is different and my shoes are going to be wet. So, definitely, I did not make a good choice in my footwear when I got there. I don't know why it's not as famous as some of these other places, but it's really interesting here. I mean, it doesn't do it justice by what I'm doing, but we saw rainbow, and we're going to walk down and look at the water feature. Okay. So one of the things that they say, like if you do a Google search on it, they say like there's all these like Google said that it had like these multiple cascades, like one waterfall, and it flows through the valley. And I don't know. It's I guess there's multiple things feeding it. I never paid attention to it because I was still like anyway, I was just like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And it was not crowded. We stayed in the town center in Reykjavik. I want to say it took us about an hour. maybe a little over an hour. I can't remember because my husband drives really fast. And it didn't really feel like an hour though. Phones. We hooked up navigation to our phone. So it's funny because obviously we selected English and everything like that. But it's so funny as they're telling you where to turn and everything, and it's telling you in so and so kilometers. I was like, oh yeah, we're in kilometers here, and the name of the towns that you see them or turns or whatever obviously don't sound like how we would say it. But when we hooked up our navigation, let me tell you, you guys can do this on your own. I was a passenger princess, all the way passenger princess. So it didn't really feel like it was that long of a drive. But nevertheless, because we stayed in the town center, right? Like we left the airport, drove to Reykjavik, where, I think there's like a local college there and some stores and all kinds of stuff. Google, the internet will say that there's these hiking trails and there's all this wildlife. I didn't see any of that. What I remember was, oh my, it's starting to drizzle out here in these streets, and I don't have on the right footwear. I would definitely say before you go, be mindful of the season. If you're going in October, I think they say the best time to go is like July, August. It was still beautiful in October. I just want to be clear because it's not like we were in hardcore winter yet, but you need sweatshirts. You need like a coat or something. It's not warm, right? Easily you can hit the 40s or whatever like that. And then when that wind kicks in, or if it's rainy outside, and it's like, Iceland is definitely like emotional. It's like one minute it wants to be windy, one minute it wants to be rainy. I think Iceland has ADD, but it's beautiful. It's like a beautiful mess. So definitely the season matters, and I can't foot stomp enough. Pun intended. Make sure you have the right footwear for your activities. I think I'm just at this point in my life where I appreciate beauty and nature, the mundane. Like oftentimes, now look, this is going to sound so stereotypical, but a lot of times people who look like me, and you know what I'm talking about, when we talk about going on vacation, we're always thinking of some place warm, which is great. And then we always want to hit like the Caribbean, which is great. I mean, I've done those places too. But we I would really challenge you to go try something different, experience something new. It's so cool. It's just so different. Like I don't know how to put it into words. Interestingly enough, when we were looking into our hotels and we were booking, and I just happened to talk to the front desk and concierge and stuff like that, and they said, well, how long are you going to be here? I said, we have only about 3 to 4 days because that's all we have coverage for our children. And they said, okay. I said, I was thinking about doing the Golden Circle. And the lady at the front desk, she said, I would not pay for a tourist package for that, when she said it's actually cheaper and you'll enjoy it better if you do it yourself. It's so easy to do yourself. Like you literally get in a car. I mean, the only thing you really have to do is basically rent a car, and then you literally do it yourself. Go on Google and you type Golden Circle, depending on what your time frame looks like, right? You type the Golden Circle and you can put like 1 day itinerary, 2 day itinerary, 3 day itinerary. We chose a 1 day itinerary and we picked the highlights on that itinerary. Those are my thoughts on Thorufoss Waterfalls. I can't pronounce it. Those of you who are from Iceland, look, like I haven't had tutoring on how to pronounce this stuff, but charge it to the mind, not the heart, right? I enjoyed it. Beautiful country. Love the waterfall. And look, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and tell all your friends and your aunties and everything. You want to know why? Because I'm amazing in every way and can do no wrong. All right. Till next time.